Hello everyone, welcome back to R&J Fix.
I'm R.
And I'm Jay. Today we're going to be replacing the cabin air filter in a 2005 to 2014 Ford Mustang. All you need for this job is of course the replacement filter and a Phillips head screwdriver of medium size.
Now, in some of the cars that we've been working on, Hondas and Toyotas, we find that the cabin air filter is most often behind the glove box in the inside of the car. However, on this Mustang, it is actually behind the firewall, and we're going to access it through the engine compartment as we've done here. So we're actually going to be working behind the battery. So for your location, find the battery, and you're going to be working behind the battery. This panel right here that I'm lifting up is going to have to come off in order to access that filter. Now, I've taken one of the screws off. There are two that hold this thing together. I've taken one off to show you how it works. It's a two-part clip. There's a screw, plastic screw, and then the actual fastener, which has a looped prong at the bottom of it. The way that this works is the prong typically is compressed. As the screw gets tightened, the prong gets spread apart, and that captures the fastener in place right in here. It is common that these screws are stripped and they're only plastic, so they sometimes get stripped. Not a biggie. If it's stripped, just work it as if it was a push pin. But this car is intact at the moment and we're able to unscrew it out. So I've taken that one out. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the second one, which is right here, and we're going to then lift this panel and access the filter. Okay, so we're going to take that center screw out, and it's very, very light, and you see how it just came right out. Once that screw is out and that clip is out, we're now going to unsnap this, and you see it unsnaps here as well as in the back there. And here's our filter right in the back. So the way this filter is retained is, you see there's a plate that it goes up against, and this carrier, which is mounted to the filter, is actually snapped behind the plate. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift on that outside carrier while we pull the filter forward. Let me just get my hands in the way there. You see how that came forward? And now we just have to lift it out. And here's our filter. Now, as you can see, this is pretty dirty. This is typical. It's also obvious, if you notice the way that it came out, a couple of things to talk about. One of them is it came out with the flange to the back. So we know that the airflow obviously comes in this way and blows out. The other thing that we know is that when we put it back, we're going to definitely want to have this flange part back against the firewall, so it'll go in this way. The other thing is these two prongs go in first. They're going to sit in a receiver that I don't know if you can see, and then we're going to rotate this back and snap it in. So we know that this is the position that this filter carrier is going to be in. If you look at the old one, it says assemble in this direction, which means it went in this way. Once again, that's the outside. This is the inside. In our new filter, if you look at the direction, it talks about airflow. And you see that? Airflow with a small arrow. So we know that this filter has to go in like this, because we know that the airflow comes from the outside to go in. Now, one of the things you might have noticed about this filter is it's a little gray. Most times they're white. This one is gray because it actually has some impregnated charcoal in the filter to kind of help give a little bit more of a fresh scent to the air. All you do to snap this in is press the filter in from the backside. There is one tab right here which you have to capture behind that, and now we reassemble it. When we reassemble it, we're going to first fish it in, put the prongs in, and then we're going to just rotate it up and snap that top in. All right, so we're ready to reassemble. And remember, the way that we're going to reassemble is this flange is going to be toward the back against the firewall, and these two pins down here are first going to go into their receivers in the back. Now, to do this, we need to get this cover out of the way. We get the cover out of the way, we just drop this in. And be careful of the filter because it's only paper. Once it's in place, we hook those bottom pins in, and you can feel it when they go in because it'll sit down just right, and then we snap the top in, and that's all it is. You see how it's nice and locked in. The cover goes back down. When you're putting the cover back down, kind of hook it under the wiper blades. You know it's got a snap here and a snap here. We're going to put our push pins back in, and we're done. This whole thing should take about 15-20 minutes, depending on how much you struggle with the getting it in and out. That cover can come off. It can't pull out. You can rotate it out from under the wiper blades if you want. There's hooked pins in the back that you can hook. So if you feel it easier to take this off, you could. We didn't have to. I just saw we got it in without doing that. So that's it. It's a 15-minute job. It'll take you a little bit of bending to get in there, but it's certainly doable by anybody else.
Thanks for coming with us, guys. Give us a like if you enjoyed it. Maybe subscribe to see what we get up to next. Thanks so much.